I'm Kenny Lamb. Everybody calls me KC. That's my first two initials. I'm 57 years old, presently homeless. Hoping soon to get my ID so I can go back to work and won't have to be out here on the streets like this. My mother passed away. I took it hard, and I guess someone introduced me to something that said it would get my mind off of being depressed, which is crack cocaine. I said, no, I don't want to do that, because I heard about that while I was incarcerated, which is another story. And they said, oh, it's not as bad. Well, people have problems out here and they take antidepressants for them. Well, that was kind of like my antidepressant. I was seriously hooked on it for a while. It's poison. It's no good. There seems to be a lot of people out here who have that same problem, and they've turned to another type of drug or alcohol to soothe the pain of being in the position that they're in. I work sometimes. I mean, I'll work where I can for as long as I can. Not having ID right now, and it's really a struggle to get your ID. A lot of people think it's easy, but if you're a person like I am, I don't like to wait in lines, and I don't like stupid questions. I mean, ask me the right questions, and I give you the true and proper answer. Ever you ask me some stupid questions, I'm just gonna act like I didn't either hear you, or I'm angry that you even asked me something like that. You take me for being stupid. I'm not receptive to holding a sign, flying a sign. It says "Hungry, help, please." There are times I get more than what I need to eat with, but most of the time, the money I get, I would take and go get something to eat. And I also try to do what I can to help other people. Maybe I shouldn't even say anything about it, because I don't do it for any type of recognition. But there's a pharmacist around here who was helping an elderly lady. She has a weekly pharmaceutical bill, about $90-something a week. They only can give her medication weekly. And she couldn't pay all of it, but she didn't speak English and she didn't understand. And she's Honduran or Venezuelan, I'm not sure. And she didn't speak English, but he would speak to her. And he was helping her for a while. And I happened to be in the drugstore at the time, and was asking about something for my skin, and I overheard the pharmacist trying to explain to her that he couldn't no longer continue to help her. And she don't know me. I don't even know her name. She don't even know who I am. She don't even know that on Thursdays of the week, I actually take and give as much as somewhere between $38 to about $47 to this pharmacist. He makes enough money he could help her. But, you know, a lot of people think that I as soon as I get money, I'm gonna grab a bag of chips and a drink and go do drugs or something. Hey, it happens. It happens to a lot of people. A lot of people do that. I have done that. And, but I take a percentage of what I get. And I put it away for just those reasons, to help someone else. Like I said, I'm not receptive to doing that. I wasn't receptive to it before I started doing it. I don't like doing it. I don't like asking people for their stuff. However, if people don't give you something, if people don't give me something, hey, it's cool. I understand. It's your choice. I can't be mad with you about your choice, wrong or right. Wrong for me or right for you, it don't matter. I can't be mad about your choice. And what people do, where they eat or what they eat, does not fill me up. So it's none of my business. Unless you directly affect me with something, it becomes my business then. Other than that, it's none of my business what other people do. A lot of people feel that, and I've already heard it, that, hey, you know, you homeless, you flying a sign, you're asking people for this and that, get a job, this and that. You don't understand. I do work, and a lot of people have seen me work. I've worked at every place almost up and down through Chester Bridge and Piedmont for months or weeks at a time, or just for days. But there are times I have to come out here, and I haven't drank since 79. 79, I went to prison for something I didn't do. For 27 years and 5 months. Yeah, I got stabbed 7 times. Yeah. No, at the same time. Me being from Atlanta, if you, at that time in late 70s, early 80s, there was what they called the city thing. It's not like the Bloods and the Crips and the GDs or Vice Lords gangs type stuff. It's like if you're from Atlanta or from Savanah, you hang with that, and they battle one another. Atlanta versus Savanah, Atlanta versus Columbus, Atlanta versus Augusta, Atlanta versus Albany. Sometimes making them fall with Atlanta. But pretty much everybody doesn't like you because you're from Atlanta. And Atlanta's where their parole papers come from, so they should like you very much, since that's where their parole or release papers come from. However, I was drawn into something that I was no part of just because I'm from Atlanta. And I wound up getting stabbed 7 times, and I wound up getting transferred to a level 6 prison. I've been in all level 5 and level 6 prisons, close or maximum security prisons. When I first went to prison, everybody, the old saying is you go to the biggest guy there and you swing on him. And that is true. Some people don't. But hey, you know, I wasn't no heck of a fighter, but I went to the baddest guy in the dormitory and I swung on him and got my butt kicked. Well, you know, I fought, and it gained respect, even from him. And there was times that I'd fight about things. Someone would say something. I try not to be violent. I try not to be angry or get upset about what other people do. But like I said, when it directly affects me, then, you would fight over a cigarette. My ex-fiancée accused me of something I didn't do. I'm against abortion. She was going to go to Auburn. I was going to go to Georgia Tech. She turned 18 before I did. She was a virgin. Her aunt got her an apartment, and a 1-bedroom apartment when she turned 18. When I turned 18, I was working at National Car Rental full-time and Flying Tiger Air Freight at Hartsville, Atlanta Airport. And I was saving money because I just got a scholarship to go to Georgia Tech baseball after graduation. And I'm pro-life, you know. Personally, you know, if someone isn't, that's, like I say, their choice. I respect other people's choices. If that's what you want to do, that's cool with me. Like I say, if someone wants to give me something, cool. If you don't want to give me something, that's cool too. That's your choice. I can't do nothing but respect it. I'll not shake a cup at you and cuss you out. I am not going to just disrespect you because you decide to make a choice. It's your choice. And I'm not agreeing with it, but it's your choice. Anyway, she got pregnant by me. she had an abortion. I didn't even know she was pregnant. I got angry. Her parents had, she was French Canadian. Her parents of Montreal basically turned her against me because she had, they had flipped the bill for an extravagant wedding, bought us cars, bought a ring, bought the tux, bought a wedding dress forever, you know, not rents, but bought. They were even going to give us a condo. So all these plans had got screwed up because I told her, you know, I can't trust you. You killed a part of me. You killed my baby. I mean, you didn't even talk to me about it. You got pregnant. You had an abortion. It was all your decision. And so I called it off. She threatened to burn my folks' house down, threatened to get people to jump on me. I had a Formula 400 Firebird, 74. She threatened to have someone, a truck, a big dump truck, run my car and tear it up. She just became real. Wow. She called me at my work, Flying Tiger Air Freights, one evening or one night, and she says that it was an emergency. She wanted me to come over after work. This is the reason why I haven't drank. She didn't like drinking. Her father beat her mother when he got drunk, so she didn't like drinking, so she didn't want me to drink. But I could drink anybody up on the table when I wasn't with her. So she wanted me to come over, this and that. My mother and stepfather had warned me not to do it, said it might be a setup or something. And I came over anyway. And she had me dinner fixed and brought me a beer out of the kitchen. I didn't think it was late. I didn't think, you know, she don't like beer. Why would she have it in her refrigerator? She said some guy she'd been dating had tried to push his way in. She dated him twice, had tried to push his way in the door, made a knot on her eye and busted her lip, swole her lip. Not busted, but swole it. And she thought he was going to try to kill her. She called the police, called the College Park police. And she said I did, and they said because at the time College Park police was a small precinct, and she said they can't just come and sit. They don't have manpower to just come sit in front of her apartment on the pretense that someone would come and do harm to her. And if she noticed that it came, call the police immediately. And so I fell for the story. I went over. She brought me a beer, fixed me dinner, brought me a beer. It was late at night. And she said I could sleep on the couch, brought me a blanket and a pillow. I drank more than half of the beer. She grabs it up, goes in the kitchen. Pop, I hear another beer pop. I heard another can pop, and she brings me another beer. I didn't even get halfway through with it, and I couldn't eat. I was about to pass out. So I laid back on the couch. I woke up in the middle of the night with her sitting up on top of me. Me partially nude to here. And she was trying to get me to have sex with her, which I couldn't perform because of whatever was in that beer. And I was drowsy, kind of out. And I went back to sleep. And next thing I knew, police were slamming me on the floor and handcuffing me, saying that she was charging me with aggravated assault with intent to rape. I said, Donna wouldn't do that. And they said, yeah. One night, make a long story short, I had 2 mistrials. The third trial convicted me. 12 people representing society convicted me for something I didn't do. 19 years later, she writes me a letter and says she's now a Christian. She's got 3 children. She lives in another state, and her husband's a minister, and she wants to get everything right. She wants to set the record straight. It's a little late. I can't get my conviction overturned now. My appeals have gone through. I no longer have appeals. But by me working in the law library and becoming a civil paralegal, I shepherdized some cases at the time, Shepherd's Law, and found a case that pertained to me getting my sentence overturned. I had a total of 116 years combined. 116. And I wasn't expected to parole for 43 years. It should have all been ran concurrent. It was a 120-year sentence, but at the time it was ran consecutively. When it did get run concurrent, it was 27 years and 5 months later, 8 years and 5 months after she wrote the letter. I finally got the Georgia Innocence Project to assist me in going back to court. They turned me down a couple of times. Then they wrote me and told me, yeah, the case would go. I could get my sentence overturned. I can get my conviction overturned, which makes me a registrar as a sex offender for an aggravated assault with intent. Not that a rape ever happened, that it was an intent to. And I never done it. It was a fabricated story. She had a swollen eye, a swollen lip, and she had my semen on her vaginal lips. Not there, she hadn't been penetrated. But at that time, they didn't have the kind of tests they have now. So, you know, people look on the internet and they see this. This is a registrar in our neighborhood, and had I been in the neighborhood and someone, I wouldn't want someone with that type of record to be in my neighborhood either. However, you know, you read a book, don't read all the pages. At the end of the book, there's extra pages. If you don't read that, then you don't know the whole story. But you're able to tell other people the story. How are you able to tell other people the story if you don't read the whole book? So, yeah. Right. And then my sentence was overturned, not my conviction. And unfortunately, I'm only on the 10-year. I'm the lowest level registrar. I'm only on the 10-year registry. I'm not a lifetime registrar. I'm not there's 1 and 2 levels. My level is 0. On February 21st, I go back for my bi-monthly registry. Only reason I'm bi-monthly, not one time a year, is because I'm homeless right now. They don't understand. The sheriff's department don't understand why I even have to register. They said you shouldn't even have to. I said, yeah, I tell these people out here in society who kill me on the ramps a lot of times, or who follow me a lot of places. I said, man, I don't feel about them the same way they feel about me. I said, you know, God's good. God will deliver us from the evil things in life. And I'm not a religious person. I'm a spiritual person. Out here, I live by the Spirit. The Spirit of what the Lord wants me to do. I feel like if something's bad for me, He's going to put something in my way that's going to stop me from going or doing what I was going to do or going where I was going to go, because He knew it was bad for me. This is a lesson to be learned out here. I used to live, when I first became homeless, I used to live the post in the middle right here. Actually, the third post right here, there's painted gray around. There used to be 2 beds. There was 5 of us lived back here. There's only 2 of us still alive. They've got hit by a car, been killed, or OD'd. It's easy for a person to get caught up in this life. I don't really want to have to accept the responsibilities that I used to have, because things are given to you, jobs are given to you, opportunities are given to you for you to make money and do this and that. But those responsibilities become hurtful too, because you feel like that when you lose something that you've worked hard and earned, you feel like that's the end of the world. But that's not the end of the world. This is a whole new world. And it's where you become more humble. I don't have to fight out here. to survive. I learn every day different things I need to do to survive. Sometimes I say it's by choice or by force. Mine was forced on me. My homelessness was forced on me. But after that, it became a choice. Do I like living like this? Sometimes it's cool. Sometimes it's fun. Sometimes you don't have to worry about nothing. And sometimes it's hard. And like right now, it's cold. And, you know, man, 2 nights ago, man, I like froze. We had a couple of days of great weather. And then I took that for granted. But I felt like I was about to freeze. Man, you just grab you some blankets and huddle up where you can and hope the wind will tear you in half. And I'm not a cold type environment person. I don't get along with the cold too well. Yeah, and I'm different from a lot of people. I would rather work than to be standing out here and asking people for their hard-earned money. Yeah, most people roll their windows up. They'll turn their nose up and won't even look at you. Hey, you don't have to give me anything. Just acknowledge me as a person, as a human being. You know, whether you respect. They'll switch lanes. They'll run red lights to make sure that they're not the first car that you see. That they don't have to stop right by you. They'll run red lights and switch lanes, roll up their windows, laugh, or point, this and that. Hey, you know, I used to worry about what people thought about me. Hey, what you think is nothing like what you would know if you got to know me. If you spoke to me, if you got to know who I was. I try to be polite. At nighttime, if I'm doing it, I try to keep my distance because it is nighttime. Some people don't like that. It scares them. I hear the doors click. I see the windows roll up. I see them speed up to catch a light, or I see them run a red light. They'll risk taking their own life running a red light just to not have to stop right there by you. I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Have a good night, have a good day, have a good evening. God bless you. When I say those things, I'm sincere about it. I mean, you know, like I say, I don't feel about the people that do those things. I don't feel about them the same way they may feel about me. I say, roll your window down. Listen to what I have to tell you, because you just might learn something. Or if you roll your window down, you might have something to tell me that I can learn. And it'd be much welcome, because I learn something new every day. No, yeah, they definitely kind of, yeah, people can get isolated. I think the phones are the things. I don't have a phone. I don't have a phone for a simple reason. I haven't figured them out yet. I can take a computer apart and put it back together. All the hard drives and everything you can do with a computer, I can take it apart and everything, but I cannot operate a little phone. Phones have isolated people from the everyday walking society. They only communicate with either their business or only the people that they know. They don't communicate with people and meet people. Well, you learn how to put together something that's not nothing. I mean, you know, you learn to take sticks or a piece of plastic or a trash bag and make a raincoat out of it. You learn to you actually learn a lot of camping stuff. I mean, it's like urban camping, really. It's like camping, but in the city, and you make sure that, you know, the thing is I used to see a kid would drop something on the ground and pick it up and eat it. I used to say, oh, you know, I dropped something on the ground now. I pretty much say, well, that's not too bad. Just pick it up and eat it, you know? And yeah, you don't drop it on the kitchen floor, you just kind of sweep it up and throw it in the trash. And I thought, well, you know, you don't want to walk on that floor. But some of the things that people who live in a home do not, cannot relate to as far as out here is you become a pack rat. You become a person who saves little stuff like thread or ink pen cartridges or things that you know that you become inherently know that I keep looking at this little nail on the ground that's kind of bent, and I thought, well, that's a good hook. I mean, you could use that to actually put stuff on as a hook. And I see that little plastic spoon there, and there's an ink pen cartridge or ink pen right there. I mean, I'm thinking of when I look down and I see these things, I'm thinking of these are useful items where people who live in a home might just discard an ink pen once it's, you know, empty cartridge or a bent nail, you know, or a broken spoon plastic. Yeah. Yeah, they do become very useful, and they have multi-purposes. I mean, that hook, I can think of a lot of different things you could use that hook for. I mean, you know, but I mean, it could be a can opener. I've took a quarter, or I've actually took a dime and opened a can with a dime like a can opener, you know, and not the peel top, but actually like a can opener. And I said, how do you do that? Well, you know, you take that bent nail and you start it with a bent nail, hammer it down in there and start it, and you take that quarter and you use that quarter and go around. And, you know, but when they first started inventing cans before they had can openers, actually they invent cans before openers. Such as they invent the wheel before the car. Hey, we got a car. Now, well, we're going to make it roll. You know, it seems like you didn't invent the car and then the wheel. Well, you invent the wheel before you invent the car. Well, they invented the can before they invented the car. I mean, the can opener. So, you know, they had to use alternative ways of doing that. A lot of people don't think about stuff like that. People are so caught up in their life now that when they see guys like myself and other guys out here, we find the things that they may find hard, we find them easy. We just, I mean, it's nothing to open a can with a quarter. Just like that. And it's you'd be surprised at the things that you're able to do. I never would have thought that I could do some of the things I do. You know? You can take a whole bath with some wipes. You know, some sanitation wipes. You can take a bath with that. I mean, put some soap on it and they're wet and wash your body, you know. I've even shaved with a can top that I've used as an opener. Put it on concrete and get the ridges out of it, mold it down, and then file it down on the concrete and you got a razor. I mean, you know, actually because it's round, it's easier, you know. Right, contour of your face, yeah, and you hold it pretty easy, you know. There are some people who have some psychological problems. Let's just say that. There are those who also have families, good families, and have done something that has separated them from their family. Uh, Most of these guys, though, in their heart, they're really good guys. It's just they have to sometimes be hard. You have to be hard because if you're not, people will take your kindness for weakness. They'll take advantage of it. Like I said, I'm different. I will work if I can. If I'm having an opportunity to work, I'll work. Because they're sick and tired of the responsibilities. That every day, you gotta get up in the morning. See, life has been like this for so many years. A child is born, a child is raised up to an elementary school age, goes to elementary school, maybe middle school, high school, and possibly college, get a job, get married, have children, sit back, retire, and die. And in between, you got your little stuff you do with your family. This is kind of separates you from that life. That sounds boring, doesn't it? I mean, I go to school, and get married, have children, become a grandfather, retire, or grandmother, and retire. It's all scripted out. People have lived that life for so long that they think that's what life is. Life is a lot more. You meet so many different people, and you talk. I've met so many terrible people at the ramps and out here living just like I am. And I've met so many people who are just generally good-hearted. There's a lot. These dudes, man, and some women out here, generally they are real good-hearted people. These are people who have been, they're misfits. They're took now as being, you're not even a citizen. I mean, you're no more of a person. You're just, people think that you're just the dirt. But there are these people like myself, us guys who live out here. We're the ones going to be the ones who last the longest. We're going to be the ones who wind up being the biggest help to someone. I was on Piedmont, where Piedmont turns to 85 heading towards the Beaufort Spring Connector, or they towards Armour Drive. Yeah. And there was an elderly gentleman and his wife who had a flat tire, and the gentleman was probably in the 70s. He and his wife were trying to get a tire out of their back of their car. And there was bumper-to-bumper traffic up under that bridge that had burned. And on 85, on the ramp going to 85. And I was walking down, from the Lindbergh area towards that general area right there, when I noticed that the old man was struggling. And no one, bumper to bumper traffic, no one stopped to give him help. I mean, you know, there's this, it turns to the right and it keeps going Piedmont, and there's a little thing in the middle where you could pull if your car broke down or something, almost like an emergency area. And I thought, there's no one gonna help this old fella. So I walk up. I said, "Hey, excuse me, sir." And he took his hands off and stepped to the side, and I pulled his tire out for him, and I changed his tire. And he was telling me while I was changing the tire that he and his wife were from Missouri. I guess they got showed that there's no more hospitality in the South. He said, "Man, this is our first time ever to Atlanta." He said, "I'm not sure I want to come back." And I thought to myself, how would other people in other states think about someone who doesn't even want to stop and help them when they're in need? But here comes along a homeless guy, a guy living out here, who actually helps them. And he tried to give me money, and sure, I could have used the money. I just turned around and walked off. Waved him off and turned around and walked off. I mean, you're right. Yeah, I would have liked to have had the money. At the time, I was on drugs too. I mean, you know, pretty heavy. So I could have used it, but that's the problem with a lot of guys out here. They become a slave to substance, a drug. And that's what probably keeps them out here, because they want to be able to use their substance without having to answer to anyone. I don't have to answer to anyone. I don't have to have somebody ride my back. I don't have to worry about getting up in the morning and going to work if I want to go get drunk or something. You know, that's probably what keeps these guys out here, is their addictions. And that's probably what put them out here in the first place, probably was their addiction. I believe I didn't know the name of them, but I've heard of a group of folks that do that. Yeah, I would like to be able to do something like that, but I know a few people who have built their own little sheds, and they actually have done a great job. It takes me 5 minutes. I can set up walls around me and a roof if it starts raining. It started raining on me, yesterday? And I just, yesterday evening or day before? I lose track. I don't even know what today's date is. I don't even know what time it is. I don't try not to worry about the date or the time. But I just, if I need cover, I can set it up real quick. I keep stuff like they call it a smock or